Hello, how are you? Welcome to the CurioClips channel. This is the question that has plagued scientists for years. Where did the very first virus come from? But more importantly, why should we care? What's the significance of finding this primordial pathogen? And how does it relate to all of the viruses plaguing humanity today? These are some of the questions we'll be answering in this episode. The truth is, without viruses, life on Earth would be very different. Viruses are everywhere. There are so many of them that scientists estimate there are about 10 times more viral infections than bacterial infections on our planet. Viruses can be found in the air, water, soil, and even inside other living organisms. And while most viruses are harmless or cause mild symptoms, others can cause disease, disability, and death. Some viruses, such as smallpox, have been with humans for thousands of years, causing outbreaks that killed millions. Others, like HIV, have only emerged recently, causing major shifts in global health. Regardless of their age, viruses are a constant threat to human health. As such, understanding where they came from and how they evolve is crucial for developing effective treatments and vaccines. But where exactly do viruses come from? Well, for starters, they're not alive, at least not in the traditional sense. A virus is simply a small piece of genetic material wrapped in a protein coat. It needs a host cell to survive and reproduce. That's why viruses are considered obligate intracellular parasites. They need a host to live because they don't have the necessary machinery to replicate on their own. This lack of independent life functions means that viruses don't fall under the same classification as bacteria, fungi, or other single-celled organisms. Instead, they're considered non-living infectious agents. But if they're not alive, where do they come from? The answer, surprisingly, may lie in the very cells that viruses infect. One leading hypothesis is that viruses evolved from pieces of cellular DNA or RNA that gained the ability to move between cells. Over time, these rogue genetic elements became more complex, eventually giving rise to the viruses we know today. This theory is supported by the fact that viruses share many similarities with the cells they infect. For example, both viruses and cells use DNA and RNA to store genetic information, and both use proteins to build their structures. Additionally, some viruses have genes that are similar to those found in cellular organisms. But perhaps the most compelling evidence for this theory comes from the structure of the virus particle itself. Many viruses have a core of either DNA or RNA surrounded by a protein coat called a capsid. This structure is remarkably similar to the structure of certain cellular organelles, such as mitochondria and chloroplasts, which are responsible for energy production in eukaryotic cells. In fact, some researchers believe that viruses may have originated from these types of cellular structures that broke off and began infecting other cells. If this is true, then viruses may have been with life on Earth for as long as life itself. But there's another possibility. Some scientists think that viruses came into being much more recently, possibly as a result of gene transfer between organisms. This theory is supported by the fact that viruses often have genes that are found in multiple different species. For example, the influenza virus has genes that are similar to genes found in both birds and mammals. This suggests that the virus may have originated from a gene transfer event between these two groups of animals. Alternatively, some scientists hypothesize that viruses may have arisen independently multiple times throughout history, possibly as a result of similar selective pressures acting on cellular organisms. This idea is supported by the fact that viruses appear to be everywhere on Earth today, infecting all types of organisms from bacteria to plants to animals. It's possible that viruses have always been this way, but we just haven't been able to detect them in the fossil record due to their small size and lack of a cellular structure. Whatever their origins, it's clear that viruses have been with us for a long time. Evidence of ancient viral infections has been found in the fossil record, going back hundreds of millions of years. One study, published in the journal Nature in 2019, reported the discovery of viral fossils preserved in the shells of ancient marine organisms. These fossils date back 358 million years and provide direct evidence of the long evolutionary history of viruses. But while we've been able to find evidence of ancient viral infections, actually isolating and studying these ancient viruses has proven to be much more difficult. Most viruses are too fragile to survive the fossilization process, and even if they do, they're often too degraded to be studied. However, in 2023, scientists were able to successfully revive an ancient virus named Mollyvirus sibericum that had been found in Siberian permafrost. This virus had been trapped in ice for an estimated 45,000 years, and when revived proved to be almost identical to modern-day viruses. This discovery provided new insights into the behavior of giant viruses and raised hopes that one day we might be able to revive even older viruses to study them. As you might imagine, the implications of being able to study ancient viruses are huge. Not only would it provide us with valuable information about the evolution of viruses, but it could also help us develop new treatments for viral infections. By comparing ancient and modern-day viruses, researchers may be able to identify the genetic changes that have allowed certain viruses to become more deadly or resistant to drugs. This information could then be used to develop new therapies that are more effective at treating viral infections. But what about the oldest virus of all? If scientists were able to find it, what would it tell us about the viruses plaguing humanity today? Well, for starters, it would give us a better understanding of how viruses work. Viruses are incredibly diverse, and there are many different types of viruses that infect different types of organisms. However, despite their diversity, all viruses share some common features. They all have a genome made up of either DNA or RNA, a protein code, and sometimes an envelope. By studying the oldest virus, scientists could potentially learn how these common features evolved and what they mean for the function of the virus. Additionally, studying the oldest virus could also help us better understand the origins of viral diseases. Many viral diseases are zoonotic, meaning they can be transmitted from animals to humans. By studying the viruses that infect other animals, especially those that are closely related to humans, we can learn more about the factors that contribute to the emergence of new diseases. This information is essential for developing effective public health measures to prevent the spread of disease. For example, by studying the viruses that infect bats, scientists have learned that these animals are a major reservoir for many different types of viruses, including Ebola virus, Marburg virus, and SARS-CoV-2. Perhaps most importantly, studying the oldest virus would give us a better understanding of how viruses evolve and how this evolution can lead to new diseases. Viruses mutate very quickly, which makes them difficult to study. However, by studying the oldest virus, scientists could potentially learn more about the factors that drive viral evolution and how this evolution can lead to new diseases. This knowledge is crucial for developing effective treatments and vaccines for emerging viral diseases. In conclusion, while we may never know exactly where the very first virus came from, the search for this primordial pathogen is revealing important information about the nature of viruses and their role in the evolution of life on Earth. By studying ancient viruses, we're gaining new insights into how viruses work, how they cause disease, and how they evolve. This knowledge is essential for developing effective treatments and vaccines for viral infections and will help us better understand the world around us. So what do you think? Are you excited to learn more about the origins of viruses? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like this video, please be sure to like and subscribe for more science videos in the future. Thanks for watching.